Commissioner Ziegmanfeld. It is 8:39. I will call the Building and Zoning Committee meeting to order for October 8th, which is what the agenda says, but November 5th. First on our agenda is review of zoning hearing board decisions. Item 1A, appeal number 25-3798, Joel Sobel for 83.
Hold on for a second.
Yeah.
Is somebody talking? Can you mute yourselves?
I think Ms. Brown just muted herself. She's good. We're good. So going back, I'm sorry. Item 1A, appeal number 25-3798, Joel Sobel for 8369 Fisher Road. We have a zoning hearing board decision. I'm not sure. I know Mr. Sekawongu is not here. Is anyone else here from staff?
I think that's my ward. I think it's the 6th ward.
Excellent.
Yeah, is there anybody from planning or building and zoning that can?
Yes, Mr. Orman, Bob Hapgood here.
Hi, Mr. Hapgood. Do you want to give us a brief overview of the zoning hearing board decision?
Sure. This was for the property again at 8396 Fisher Road. The resident was found to have a second kitchen in the building, in the dwelling, in the basement. So once that was determined, they were advised that wasn't permitted, so they made application to go to the zoning hearing board to get relief to allow for the second cooking facility in the basement. It is in Ward 6. Mr. Ziegmanfeld was correct about that. The board did grant the relief. The property owner is not going to be looking to rent out the basement, as a second dwelling unit. They're aware if they do any improvements to the basement, they have to comply with current codes too.
Excellent. Mr. Hapgood, thank you for that summary. So the zoning hearing board granted the request with conditions. Commissioner Ziegmanfeld, do you have any comments or a motion?
I move for no action.
Okay. Any comments or questions on Commissioner Ziegmanfeld's motion? Seeing none, all those in favor of no action say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you. Item 1B, appeal number 25-3799, the Bank of America for 1000 South Easton Road. Mr. Hapgood, another brief synopsis.
Yes, this is for the new proposed Bank of America to be constructed out there at the Cedarbrook Shopping Center. It's going to be the other side of the access drive that comes in off of Cheltenham Avenue, opposite of the Chick-fil-A. The bank has wanted to get zoning relief to allow for the installation of 4 parallel wall signs, all that are going to be internally illuminated. Normally there would be allowed 2, but they wanted to get relief for 4 because they wanted to put 1 parallel wall sign on each side. The zoning hearing board did grant the relief for that, and this property is located in Ward 2.
Thank you, Mr. Hapgood. Commissioner Lewis.
I have no comments and move for no action.
Excellent. Any comments or questions on Commissioner Lewis's motion? Seeing none, all those in favor of taking no action on this item say aye.
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 Aye. Thank you all. Item number 2, receipt of the monthly Citizens Committee meeting minutes. Item 2A, the Planning Commission met on October 27th, 2025. The meeting minutes are attached to the agenda. Any comments or questions on that? Seeing none, I'll move for acceptance. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Item 2B, the Board of Historical and Architectural Review met on October 16th, 2025. There's one item for board review. B1, consider approval of a certificate of appropriateness for application Bahar 25-25 of Adam Hines, owner of 146 Fernbrook Avenue, for the repair of the roof, stucco, siding, and trim, reconstruction of the brick chimney, and the addition of an extension at the rear of the house. Mr. Hapgood, I assume the Bahar approved the request?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. Do you know whose ward this is in?
It should be in my ward.
Commissioner Cherko, please.
Yeah, I move to approve.
Excellent. Comments or questions? All right, seeing none, all those in favor of Commissioner Cherko's motion to approve the certificate of appropriateness for application Bahar 25-25, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Okay, moving right along. Item number 3, receipt of staff reports for September 2025. First, we have planning and zoning monthly reports. Any comments or questions there? All right, seeing none, I'll move for acceptance. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Item 3B, report of the building inspector. If anyone has it, do we have any comments from staff on this one? Seeing none. Any comments or questions from the board? Okay, I'll move for acceptance of the building inspector's report. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Losing steam there. Last but certainly not least, the report of the code administrator. Anything from staff on this report? Highlights? No? Okay. Anything from the board? Comments or questions? All right. Again, seeing none, I'll move for acceptance of the code administrator's report. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. All right. Moving on to old business. We have 3 items, excuse me, for old business. The first is review and consider recommendation to the Board of Commissioners on the adoption of an ordinance amending Chapter 295 zoning, Article 15, the MU3 mixed use districts to modify certain design and development standards for Class 3 special exception in the MU mixed use district. Mr. Diazio, it's a mouthful, but I'm going to turn it over to you to explain what it all means.
Sure. So the board may recall it was probably earlier this year or late last year, there were amendments to the section of the code that relates to the MU3 district. At the time, there were some comments from the county that had not been received in time to get them into the ordinance. As we've also gone through the development of a property that's in the MU3 district, there have been some lessons learned and things as staff have worked with the ordinance that we had wanted to clean up. And so you're seeing a combination of those things all being reflected in the proposed revisions before you this evening.
Thank you, sir. And again, this is just another example of staff continually working to hone our zoning ordinance to ensure that we are striking the balance between encouraging development, but also protecting the township and residents and neighbors. So any comments or questions from the board on this recommended ordinance adoption? Okay, seeing none, I'll move to consider recommendation to the Board of Commissioners on the adoption of the cited ordinance. All those in favor say aye.
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 Thank you all. All right, item 4B, review and consider a recommendation of the Board of Commissioners on the adoption of an ordinance amending Chapter 295 zoning, Article 3 definitions, Article 8 MU1 mixed use districts, Article 23 parking and loading to permit medical marijuana dispensaries in certain portions of the MU1 mixed use zoning district by special exemption when certain criteria are met. I think we recently advertised this and had some discussion about what the meaning of this was when we addressed that. But Mr. Diazio, if you'd be kind enough to give us another refresher on what the intent here is of this ordinance.
Sure. So the primary content of this ordinance was actually adopted by the board several years ago, right around the time that the board comprehensively overhauled the zoning code. And because the zoning code overhaul and this specific ordinance amendment were adopted around the same time, this ordinance never made it into the code. And so we are essentially, with just a few minor changes, putting the language back into the code, formally putting it into the code, what the board approved previously. And
Excellent.
yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Diazio. Commissioner Ziegmanfeld, yes.
Thank
please.
you. Mr. Diazio, could you please speak to some of the conditions that maybe would be considered, such as within a particular distance of a school, within locations, that we wouldn't have the situation that we experience with smoke shops, et cetera. So I'd just like to understand if there are certain conditions that will limit, what could be, an infusion of those kinds of facilities or dispensaries in either a particular section of the township or something that local landowners would be willing to accommodate, but may not work to the benefit of either residents or some of the other businesses in the area.
Yeah, so the way that this is written, um, as I understand, there are only a very small handful of properties in the township where this use would actually be permitted. I believe it's less than 5 or 10 properties in the township. They're right along Old York Road, um, near the township building. So you would not have to worry about this type of facility being, next to a school or anything like that. One of the comments that we received from the county just for consideration was was it too restrictive? And I think the intention was to put this into place. I know that Mr. Sekawongu will be happy when there is something in place so that the use is accommodated in the township. And it's something that if at a later point in time the board wants to expand, it could certainly consider that. But at this point in time, staff's recommendation was just to keep this use narrow and see, how it played out and whether there was any interest in having this type of use in the township.
I'm a little confused, but I'll leave it to Mr. Sekawango's, discretion to help clarify some questions that I might have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Zingenfeld. Any other comments, thoughts, or questions on this item? Okay. Seeing none, I will move for a recommendation of the Board of Commissioners for the adoption of this ordinance under 4B. All those in favor say aye.
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 Thank you all. Item 4C, a status update on the zoning hearing board appeal number 25-3801 for 165 Township Line Road. There's a note that there's no additional zoning relief being requested, but we're getting an update on this nevertheless. I'll start with Mr. Diazio, and I think there's a representative of 165 Township Line Road on as well. But Mr. Diazio, do you want to tell us, give us, the
Sure.
beginnings of the status update?
Sure. So the owner of the property here was before the zoning hearing board a little over a year ago and had obtained zoning relief for redevelopment of this property. There was testimony at the zoning hearing board about what the project would look like. The relief was granted with a number of conditions. One of those conditions was that the development would be constructed in substantial conformity with the testimony at the hearing. And so subsequent to receiving that relief, the developer was doing some due diligence and they determined that what they had been proposing was that under one of the buildings, there was going to be underground parking. And as they began to take a look at that, they realized that the underground parking may have been cost prohibitive. And they started to look for ways that underground parking could be brought to surface level. And so they found a way to do that without needing any additional zoning relief. They can meet their parking minimums and things like that. But when the application came into staff, I know that Mr. Sekawongu was not totally comfortable that that plan was substantially the same plan as had been presented to the zoning hearing board. We felt that while the number of buildings wasn't changing, the square footage wasn't changing, none of the landscaping was changing, the location of the parking we determined was a material enough aspect of the plan that it ought to go back to the zoning hearing board to let them hear what the revised plan is and to essentially consider affirming their decision based on the revised testimony around what parking would look like. So they're not seeking any additional zoning relief from the board, but they are going to be going back, sharing their plan and asking the board to modify the condition around substantial conformity to the testimony to be substantial conformity to the testimony as revised at the next meeting.
Fair enough. And Mr. Diazio, before we turn over to any representative, the is it anticipated that the request is in any way going to request changes to the conditions that were imposed, or any other than this substantial conformance with the testimony related to this parking issue? Is there any indication that the applicant is going to be going back to the zoning hearing board asking for different relief, modification of the conditions, or some other new component of the development that this committee or the board didn't get a chance to look at?
No, and that question was specifically asked of the applicant. We wanted to make sure that we completely understood what the scope of the ask was. So they are not seeking modification to any of the other conditions that the zoning hearing board imposed previously.
Okay, fair enough. Any other comments or questions from the board? I don't think there's any action for us to take at this point, but certainly if anyone on the board has a question about this, update, please feel free.
I do have one.
Yeah, Commissioner Brockington.
Yes. Just for the sake of some of the residents, can someone kind of just give us what this property is and what they're trying to do there? Or maybe some folks who wasn't on, back in that time.
Sure. I see that Mr. Friedman is here. I don't know, Mr. Friedman, if you'd like to take that question.
Sure. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
We can.
Okay. So, first of all, I want to thank Mr. Diazio for that excellent presentation. I don't think I could have done any better. Second of all, Jerry Roller, the architect for the project, is also on the Zoom. But let me give you a brief overview. The Pitcairn property consists of 8 acres. There's 2 existing buildings on the property, Pitcairn 1 and Pitcairn 2. They're both office buildings. Pitcairn 2 is substantially vacant. The tenants have moved out, and they haven't been able to replace them. So back in 2024, the applicant decided that it would be more viable to have a residential component on the site. So the proposal is to convert Pitcairn 2 to apartments and also add a new building, which we call Pitcairn 3. That consists of apartments and also a retail restaurant area. And that is a summary of the project. I believe Mr. Diazio discussed, why we're going back to the board. And Jerry Roller, would you like to add anything?
No, I think that's it. The only question that maybe we should clarify is the difference that was perceived by the township in terms of the original application and the current application, or the current clarification. The parking ratios.
I'm sorry, Mr. Roller, are you asking a question, or are you?
Well, I was responding to Mr. Friedman's question. And I'll follow his guidance. If he thinks this is not for this committee, then we'll continue.
No, okay. I think we're good. Commissioner Brockton, does that answer your question?
Yeah, I just wanted to get it out there. What, in case any resident wanted to know where that location was. That's fine.
Yeah, it's also attached to the agenda for anyone who wants to look at that. Okay. Anything additional? Okay, so the next step for this applicant is to go to the zoning hearing board, correct?
Yes, we're planning on going on November 18th.
Okay, Thank you, Mr. Freeman, Mr.
Thank-
Roller, Mr.
Thank you,
Diazio.
commissioners.
Any other old business for tonight's Building and Zoning Committee meeting? Once, twice. Any new business for tonight's meeting? How about Citizens Forum? Put everybody to sleep with that first meeting, huh? All right. Seeing none, I will move to adjournment at 9 o'clock on the button.
Wow. Wow.
All those in favor?
Aye.